Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the course Management Information Systems. Today we're going to start off with the chapter 7 Information Systems Security from the same module 2, that is Information Technology Infrastructure. Like we said before कि information technology infrastructure में different platforms थे, and one of the very basic platforms was the security of the information systems. And today we're going to talk about what can be the security issues when you're dealing with different kinds of information systems, and how can these issues be resolved, and protective measures जो हैं वो कौन-कौन से हम apply कर सकते हैं. So the learning objectives of this chapter are that we're going to identify the reasons for information systems vulnerabilities, that is के information systems जो हैं उनकी weaknesses जो भी हैं वो क्यों हैं, and we're going to discuss the reasons for security for business, that is के businesses के लिए security measures adopt करना क्यों ज़रूरी है. Then we're going to discuss the different types of threats, that जो भी threats हैं simple computers को through internet or through any kind of networks, तो वो कौन-कौन से threats हैं. Then we're going to identify the components of an organizational framework for security and control. What can the organization apply to obtain a maximum amount of security and control in the organization. Then we're going to discuss in the end the various kind of tools and technologies for safeguarding the information systems. So in today's lecture, we're basically going to give you the reasons why information systems have their weaknesses, and also give you a brief introduction to the different kinds of threats that happen, and why it's important for the businesses to have the security measures. In the next lecture, we're going to deal with the organizational framework for security, as well as different kinds of tools and technology. So this lecture mein, it's only going to be a brief idea of what the threats are, or basically security क्यों ज़रूरी है. And in the next lecture, we're going to basically I'm going to tell you about the different kinds of tools and technologies used to safeguard the information systems, and organizational level के ऊपर क्या management कर सकती है to safeguard the information systems. Now as you can see कि हम लोग सारे लोग computers use करते हैं. You also use computers for your own purposes. Businesses में भी computers use होते हैं. So जहाँ computer use हो रहे हैं वहाँ internet भी use हो रहा है. That's why it's not only that the computers need to be protected from any kind of hardware problems, but the computers need to be protected from the kind of malicious softwares coming from the internet as well. Whenever you connect it to the network, or whenever you connect it to the internet, that means कि आपका system जो है, it has been opened for any kind of bad person who can send in different kinds of software to get data, to manipulate the data, and to also manipulate your system to be used as something else, or to be used somewhere else. So बहुत से तरह के different kinds of problems हैं जो arise हो सकते हैं when you do not make your system secure. So for example, you are connected to the internet, you have your computer that is working for your business, और आपने वो कंप्यूटर यूज़ कर रहे हैं without any kind of antivirus software या without any kind of firewall, और आप उसके ऊपर इंटरनेट यूज़ कर रहे हैं. क्या होगा, आपका within hours ही आपके कंप्यूटर में different किस्म के problems आना शुरू हो जाएंगे, and it will not be able to work properly. जिससे क्या होगा, if you work using that computer for the business, you won't be able to perform the basic tasks that are necessary to accomplish the business. And if you're selling something online through that computer, then that means you will not be able to do that. So that's why the security of different systems and security of the information systems is very important. Why? Because once you've set up your system, once you have a proper database, when you've done the proper networking, आपने proper hardware software install कर लिया अपने computer में, you have the system that is working, that's running. लेकिन if it falls under a security breach, अगर उसके अंदर कोई इस किस्म की problem आ जाती है जो कि security reasons की वजह से है, कि उसके अंदर hacking हो गई है, कोई virus आ गया है, worm आ गया है, या उसको किसी किस्म का भी नुकसान पहुंच गया है, that means that it is going to affect the whole information system. That means it's going to affect your business. और ये भी हो सकता है कि उसकी वजह से आप बिजनेस ही ना अपना कर सकें, दैट आपके कंप्यूटर्स अगर काम नहीं कर रहे, एंड इफ योर होल इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम इज बेस्ड ऑन द कंप्यूटर एंड योर कंप्यूटर इज नॉट वर्किंग प्रॉपरली, दैट मीन्स दैट आपकी वो सारी मेहनत जो है वो रायगा गई है, एंड वो मेहनत आपकी ज़ाया हो गई है. दैट मीन्स दैट आफ्टर यू सेट अप एवरीथिंग, आफ्टर यू हैव अ प्रॉपर हार्डवेयर, सॉफ्टवेयर, you have the proper database working, you have the proper network connections, then the next step is that it's very important to secure your system. Right जी. And securing systems mean उसमें दो चीज़ें basically आ जाती हैं. Number one is the security and number two is the control. इन दो चीज़ों को हम साथ देखते हैं. Security means there are the certain policies and the procedures as well as technical measures used to prevent unauthorized access. Unauthorized mean कि कोई भी इजाज़त के बगैर कोई एक स्पेशल कंप्यूटर को नहीं छेड़ा या आपके कंप्यूटर को नहीं छेड़ा. दैट्स यूज फॉर बिजनेस. ओनली वो लोग यूज़ कर रहे हैं कंप्यूटर दैट हैव द अथॉरिटी, जिनको इजाज़त दी गई है. Alteration and then theft or physical damage to information systems. So basically, security is all about applying those technical measures and procedures that are used to prevent something bad from happening. So prevent any kind of unauthorized access, any kind of alteration, any kind of theft या physical damage. Physical damage means कि आपके computer systems को एक इस तरह की environment में होना चाहिए that कि उनको physical damage ज़्यादा ना हो. Because the computers and the different kinds of equipment can be damaged by natural disasters as well, or can be damaged by any kind of problems occurring in the environment as well, in the physical environment. Right ji. Control is the methods, policies and procedures that the organizational procedures that ensure that safety of the organizational assets. That means organizational level के ऊपर control होता है और ऐसे procedures और policies वो develop करते हैं that ensure कि आपके जो organizational assets हैं, especially these computers and devices that are associated with it, that are making up the information system, वो not ज़ाया हो, which also includes the hardware as well as the software and the applications working on those computers. Also, the accuracy and reliability of records. तो जो भी records generate कर रहा है computer, they are accurate and reliable, और उसमें किसी और ने आके से कोई घपला नहीं किया, and that everything is working according to the management standards. So organizational level के ऊपर when you say that the management is basically controlling the organization, then that means that एक तो वो organizational assets का ख्याल रख रहे हैं, दूसरा इस चीज़ का ख्याल रख रहे हैं that the records are accurate and reliable, and also that जो भी operations हो रहे हैं that are according to the management standards. So if anything, और control करने का मकसद ये है that if anything happens that does not meet these standards or does not meet the requirement of the organization, तो वो फौरन एकदम detect हो जाए, haphazard कोई चीज़ ना हो, so that if there's any kind of intrusion, any kind of problem that is generated by any kind of external source or internal source, then it can be detected quickly. Next we move on to the question that why systems are vulnerable. That means के जो information systems हैं और जो computers use हो रहे हैं वो इतने weak क्यों हैं कि उनके अंदर intrusions हो जाती हैं. So the basic thing is that when the data is stored in an electronic form in the computer, then it becomes vulnerable, it becomes a weak source, and anybody और अगर आपने proper firewalls नहीं लगाए, antivirus programs नहीं लगाए, then that means कि उन computers में intrusions हो सकती हैं. For example, if you're basically when you're connected with through any kind of communication network, either wirelessly or in a wired using the physical medium, the breach can occur at any access point. Breach means कि कोई भी problem जो है security breach जिसको हम कहते हैं, that is called that if an intruder is coming from any access point, then that can happen at any point, and when that happens then आपका जो data है that can be वो चोरी हो सकता है, they usually steal the data or they alter the messages. and intruders with DOS attack, जिसको हम कहते हैं denial of service attack. आगे जाके हम देखेंगे क्या होता है. basically attack जो होता है that disrupts the website's operation, किसी भी website के operation को खराब कर दिया है. So this kind of stuff can happen at any point if you're connected to a network. Once your computer is connected with a network, then that means it's open for anybody to access the information from it. Then next problem is that कि जो hardware है उसको भी problem हो सकती है, hardware breakdown भी हो सकता है. क्यों, कैसे हो सकता है? Maybe because a certain device was not configured properly, or there was some improper installation of a certain device, or there were some unauthorized changes that were happening. Again, the authorized means कि कोई ऐसे बंदे ने change कर दिया कोई चीज़ जो कि उसको उसकी इजाज़त नहीं थी. So hardware problems can occur. Hardware problems can also occur because of natural disaster. For example, fire हो गए, floods हो गए, different kind of किस्म के problems हो गए. That are natural disasters जिनको control नहीं कर सकते. लेकिन you can always have preventive measures. You keep your equipment in different kinds of rooms that are probably built in such a way that वो जो natural disaster है उसका impact minimum कर सके, and your systems can be saved. Or for example, you can have different kinds of backup on different computers in some other place so that आपका जो data है वो ज़ाया ना हो. So there could be plenty of security measures that can be done to prevent the effects of disasters. Also, up to businesses, and like we talked about before, that sometimes the businesses are kept offshore. ठीक है, आपके offshore means किसी और continent में या किसी और country में आपका जो business के different departments हैं वो काम कर रहे हैं. So partnering with offshore also adds to system vulnerability. That means again you're connected to that to those people, to your offshore partners with the help of internet again. ठीक है, किसी network के through आप again connected हैं, and once you're connected with the internet, again your system becomes very vulnerable because your information, confidential information, either going through email or either going through instant messaging or through any kind of collaboration software, then that information can be intercepted again. ठीक है जी. Also, एक अभी तो हम computers की बात कर रहे हैं. Now let's talk about the different kinds of portable devices या mobile devices की बात करते हैं. For example, cell phones and smartphones and tablet computers हैं. These also run into problems. एक problem तो उनका यही है कि वो इतनी छोटी चीज़ें हैं that they can be stolen as well. ठीक है, laptop computers, smartphones, ये सब चीज़ें आसानी से चोरी हो सकती हैं. This is one problem. That's why इनकी एक ये weakness है. दूसरी weakness ये है that because also computers का भी यही problem था, that once they get connected to the internet, that means they can have the problems that come from the internet. Similarly, these mobile devices also run into these problems again. अगर कंप्यूटर के ऊपर वायरस आ सकता है इंटरनेट के थ्रू, मोबाइल डिवाइसेस के ऊपर भी वायरसेस आ सकते हैं और आते रहते हैं. There are different kinds of viruses that affect these mobile devices. Third problem that these mobile devices have is that there are different kinds of application programs, जिनको हम apps बोलते हैं, that are specifically built for mobile phones, which can be used for malicious purposes. For example, आपका कोई एक app है जिसके updates regularly आते रहते हैं. Most of these apps have regular updates. So one of the update, for example, Google had to take one of their apps down that was used for banking purposes. जिसकी update इस किस्म की थी that it was taking personal information from the mobile phones. So these apps also need to be reliable, और mobile phones को different unreliable sources से apps जब आप download करते हैं, then you have to be very careful about them कि either they not contain any malicious software or do not contain any kind of malware. Malware means a virus swarm या इस किस्म की कोई भी threat जो होता है. So it always has to be, you have to carefully know कि जो app जिस source ने बनाई है, they are the reliable source. राइट जी. सो इस किस्म के बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम्स हैं दैट कैन कॉज द कंप्यूटर्स टू गो डाउन, द कंप्यूटर्स टू शट डाउन, कंप्यूटर्स टू क्रैश एंड द मोबाइल डिवाइसेस आल्सो क्रैश और दे कैन नॉट वर्क प्रॉपरली. या वेबसाइट्स जो होती हैं उनके ऊपर अटैक्स होते हैं, तो वेबसाइट का कंटेंट चेंज कर देते हैं, वेबसाइट के ऊपर डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ या उसका जो कंप्लीट पेज है वो चेंज कर देते हैं. So there are different kinds of problems that can occur when you are, for example, especially when you have your business online, or especially if you have a website that is advertising your business, or as simple as that you're connected to the internet for different kinds of communications. So you have to keep your communication protected, you have to keep your systems protected, you have to keep your websites protected. So at every level you have to have some kind of preventive measures so that आपका जो system है, आपका जो website है या आपकी जो communication है, online communication, that is not intercepted at any point. राइट जी. थोड़ा बहुत अभी हमने बेसिक वल्नरेबिलिटीज की बात की थी. वी टॉक्ड अबाउट कि आपके जो सिस्टम्स में डिफरेंट हमने चीजें पिन पॉइंट की थी. दैट गिव्स यू एन आइडिया ऑफ व्हाई योर सिस्टम्स आर वीक और व्हाई योर सिस्टम्स आर वल्नरेबल. राइट जी. नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट व्हाट बिकॉज ऑफ इंटरनेट और वायरलेस सिक्योरिटी चैलेंजेस जो हैं वो क्या हैं. Internet से again we're going to repeat again that internet, when you connect to the internet, then that is more vulnerable than any kind of internal network. Internal network पे भी problem हो सकते हैं, लेकिन once that internal network, once a LAN is for example connected with the internet, then that creates more problems and it has a widespread impact of attack, because viruses जो हैं, जो worms and especially they travel very fast from one computer to another. And especially when your computers are connected to the internet with a DSL connection or a cable connection, which is जिसको हम कहते हैं always on connection, that means it's a fixed connection, then you have a fixed address and that becomes your fixed target, because you only have one IP address. In that case, अगर आप dial-up system use करते हैं तो आपको एक temporarily IP address generate होता है. But when you connect it through a broadband, for example, through DSL or cable networks, उसमें आपका जो IP address होता है that is fixed. So that means that your IP address can become a fixed target as well. Also, most of the voice over IP transmission जो होती है that is not encrypted. So for example, you're doing the internet telephony जिसको हमने बोला था voice over IP जो हमने बात की थी, that internet का फायदा भी है ये that it provides you this voice over IP. This was an application of the internet, but it has problems because most of the time the things that you say, or जब हम voice to voice communication करते हैं over the internet, then it's not encrypted. So anything that you say during that can be easily intercepted and people can use it. Also, the weaknesses or the vulnerability can also increase because of emails, instant messaging. Right, for example, जिस तरह आप torrents download करते हैं, so that is basically the peer-to-peer file sharing that is happening. Somebody is uploading the file, somebody is downloading the file, and you cannot always be sure that it's coming from a reliable source. And sometimes आपको ऐसे भी होता है कि viruses जो हैं वो travel करते हैं email में as attachment, they can travel through instant messaging, they travel through any kind of this file sharing programs as well. So because of this, जो vulnerability होती हैं वो computers की, that also increase because of the internet as well. Wirelessly जो आपके security challenges हैं वो क्या हैं? Let's have a look at them. Thus, wireless communication is vulnerable because radio frequency bands are easier to scan. और इस किस्म की चीज़ को scan करना, that for example when you are intercepting the radio waves, for example, it's called eavesdropping. Right, so basically hackers use the wireless cards, the external antenna and hacking software to intrude into the wireless LANs. So when we talk about the wireless LANs, तो उसमें हमने देखा था जो standard काम कर रहा, that was Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi does not have a very large transmission radius, right जी? But when these hackers use an external antenna, तो उसकी जो radius है वो increase हो जाता है, so that they can intercept that communication that is happening through the wireless or the radio waves. ठीक है. So they use the wireless card obviously to connect to that wireless network, external antenna, and a certain kind of hacking software to get into that wireless LAN. So basically they use the software होते हैं उनको sniffer programs कहते हैं. Sniffer programs again is a term that is used to sniff. Basically they sort of look at the communication that is happening wirelessly, and different kinds of operating systems now have the ability to identify the SSID of the network. So basically जो आपकी wireless technology है, that was made in such a way that it was easier for different kinds of devices to detect any kind of Wi-Fi signal जिसको हम कहते हैं. So there is this service set identifiers SSID that is broadcasted through that Wi-Fi to different kinds of devices so that they can connect to it, and that SSID again can be sniffed by any kind of intruder or any kind of hacker that can use the sniffer programs to get that ID. And different kinds of operating systems nowadays have this ability to identify this SSID over the network and configure their system or configure their wireless card or the network card accordingly, so that different operating systems have this ability basically to identify that SSID on the network, and then they configure themselves accordingly. So the hackers do not have to do a lot of effort to basically intercept any kind of wireless communication. There were different kinds of passcodes again were developed for this, even though अगर उनको ID पता चल गई है and they can connect to the network, but then there are certain passwords as well. Passwords जो थे that were protected by initially they were using the standard WEP, which was the wired equivalent privacy, which was a security standard, and it allows access point users to share a 40-bit encrypted password. So even if they want to connect to a Wi-Fi, तो एक 40-bit encrypted password था जो वो use करते थे. So if you've seen if you've even tried to connect to different kinds of Wi-Fi, तो वो उसके आगे लिखा होता है हमेशा that either it's following a WEP standard or it's following a WPA2 standard that is a stronger encryption standard. So the WEP था, that was very easy for the hackers again to break the code और उसकी encryption में वो enter करके password भी देख सकते थे. But now with the WPA2 standard, it's difficult for the hackers to decrypt that code. So अभी अगर आपने देखा हो कि अगर आपके Wi-Fi आपने लगाया हुआ है and different access points have a security code, so usually उनके आगे अब WPA2 लिखा होता है, which is again a stronger encryption. That means कि उसका जो password है, that is the one that cannot be broken down or decrypted easily by the hackers. The WPA basically stands for Wireless Protected Access 2. Right, so basically अभी तक हमने देखा है कि आपके जो systems हैं, how come they're vulnerable, उसके कहाँ वो problem create कर सकते हैं, and also we looked at the problems that can be caused by the internet as well as the wireless communication systems. So उसकी security की कौन से challenges हैं. Wireless communication can be easily intercepted by hackers, and for that the wireless access points के ऊपर या Wi-Fi hotspots में usually passcodes और passwords वगैरह लगाते हैं, which are encrypted with either WEP, which is low-level encryption standard, and either they are encrypted with a wireless Wi-Fi protected access 2 or the WPA2 जो कि stronger encrypted password होता है. Right, next we're going to look at the different kinds of malicious software, या जिसको malware भी बोलते हैं. अब they all fall under the category of malware basically, मतलब कि कोई भी ऐसा software that is going to harm or damage the computer. So when we talk about this, we talk about the basic fact that a computer risk जो है वो computer को risk किस किस्म के outside program से हो सकता है. So one of them, as you already know, कि अगर आपने computers पहले भी use किए हैं तो आपको पता होगा the word about the virus. Virus क्या है? It's any kind of malicious software program जो कि अटैच करता है अपने आप को एक और प्रोग्राम के साथ, एंड बेसिकली इट बिकम्स एन एग्जीक्यूटेबल फाइल सो दैट व्हेनेवर यू रन इट, तो वो जो आपका वायरस है दैट स्प्रेड्स इन द कंप्यूटर. It moves inside the computer and also spreads from one computer to another computer, but on the human action only. For example, it travels from one place to another through the storage media. Storage media means hard drive को affect करेगा. It can be stored in a CD, it can be stored in a USB, or it can move from one place to another on a any kind of storage media, CD, USB, floppy disk या हार्ड ड्राइव भी अगर आप अटैच कर रहे हैं, एक्सटर्नल हार्ड ड्राइव भी अटैच कर रहे हैं, तो उसके थ्रू भी मूव करेगा. So basically, so whenever anybody plugs in any kind of external storage media into that computer, then that virus copies itself from one place to another, and then in this way it travels from one computer to another and infects the different computers. Mostly the virus होते हैं, they deliver a payload. Payload क्या होता है? It can be as simple as a message that appears on the screen that you have a virus, या कोई भी किसी किस्म की warning signal जो आ रहा होता है आपको. It can be as simple as that, or it can be a more serious problem such as that it destroys a certain data or destroys a drive or something like that. कोई भी ऐसी चीज़ जो आपको data को destroy करे. So payload हम उस किस्म की चीज़ को कहते हैं that comes with the virus. Right, जी. Then worm on the other hand, हमने virus की बात की थी कि that it does move from computer to computer, but it is triggered by any kind of human action that आपने कोई external storage media डाला है, या आपने उस executable file पे click किया है, or something like that, that has triggered that virus to spread itself. Worm on the other hand simply copies itself from computer to computer through the network. So they basically automatically copy themselves and they automatically travel from one place to another, and usually they transfer through the email attachments. They destroy the data and hold operations of computer networks as well. ये भी हो सकता है कि वो different computers में data को disrupt करें, और ये भी हो सकता है कि वो कंप्यूटर की नेटवर्क कनेक्शन को, या आप अगर कनेक्ट नहीं कर सक रहे नेटवर्क को, then you have to check that if the system has a worm in it or not. So basically the virus or worm, and they usually come through any kind of downloaded programs if you're downloading anything from not a reliable source, and also transfer themselves from one place to another through email attachments, or even अगर आपने email attachment खोली भी अपने PC में, or you have simply clicked on it, then they can be downloaded through that as well. Virus and worm, again, like we said before, they target the mobile devices as well, thus being a serious threat to enterprise computing. So since most of the mobile devices are wirelessly being connected to the enterprise system, then that means again आपके जो wirelessly different kinds of devices के ऊपर वो virus transmit हो जाएगा, और worm especially जो है वो network के through जो transmit होता है, that can be transmitted through the wireless network as well. So that's why if you've looked at the history of different kinds of virus and worms, then worms जो हैं वो ज़्यादा computers को एक बारी में ज़्यादा affect करते हैं, because they travel automatically and they automatically duplicate themselves. Right, next we have another kind of malicious software that is called a Trojan horse. Trojan horse क्या है? Basically it looks like a legitimate program. ठीक है, legitimate means कि it looks like a real software, real program that can be downloaded, for example, and downloaded into a computer, and it does not replicate itself. Virus worm जो हैं वो अपने आप को replicate कर रहे हैं, but in different forms, that they're moving from one place to another. Either the virus जो है वो human action पे trigger होता है, and worm जो है वो automatically अपने आप को एक जगह से दूसरी जगह मूव कराता रहता है. But a Trojan horse does not replicate itself, but it creates a way for viruses and other kind of malicious code to enter the computer. So basically Trojan horse एक तरह का आपका क्या कह सकते हैं, gateway है sort of, or it's a kind of hidden gateway जो कि आप गलती से डाउनलोड कर लेते हैं. You don't know it's a Trojan horse, but that opens the gate for different kinds of worms and viruses to attack the system. So Trojan horse का थोड़ी सी जो history है, ये कि कि वर्ड कहाँ से आया ट्रोजन हॉर्स, बेसिकली इट्स बेस्ड ऑन द ग्रीक ट्रोजन वॉर. दैट मीन्स ग्रीक्स ने एक वुडन हॉर्स बनाया था बड़ा सा, जो कि ट्रोजन वॉर में यूज हुआ था, एंड दे बेसिकली गिफ्टेड दैट बिग हॉर्स टू द ट्रोजन्स, दोस्ती का हाथ बढ़ाने के लिए, एंड दे फेक्ड इट. तो व्हेन दे ओपन द गेट्स फॉर दैट ट्रोजन हॉर्स टू एंटर, तो उस हॉर्स के अंदर से, बिकॉज इट वाज सो बिग दैट इट हैड डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ ग्रीक सोल्जर्स प्रेजेंट इन इट, तो वो सारे सोल्जर्स एकदम बाहर आ गए थे एंड दे टुक ओवर दैट ट्रोजन सिटी. So basically that is the basic idea behind the Trojan, कि वो sort of धोखे से आप एक सॉफ्टवेयर प्रोग्राम को इंस्टॉल कर लेते हैं, लेकिन वो प्रोग्राम वो चीज़ नहीं होती जो कि आप समझ रहे थे कि वो है. So that's basically based on the same स्टोरी जो कि हिस्ट्री में थी, कि ट्रोजन्स ने ग्रीक्स का जो हॉर्स है वो गिफ्ट में ले लिया, ये समझ के कि वो दोस्ती का हाथ बढ़ा रहे थे, बट एक्चुअली दे हैड द हिडन सोल्जर्स इन देयर who came out and took over the Trojan city. So this is basically the idea behind the Trojan horse. Alright, next we have the SQL injection attacks. Basically it is a malware that takes advantage of vulnerabilities in poorly coded web application software. That is कि आपने कोई वेब एप्लीकेशन सॉफ्टवेयर इस तरह का बनाया है जिसमें आपने complete filtering और security measures नहीं डाले, then that takes advantage of that ब्रीच, कि वो एक आपने एक ऐसी जगह छोड़ दिया जहाँ पे कोई भी इंट्रूडर्स जो हैं वो इंटरसेप्ट कर सकते हैं. So basically क्या होता है, that basically happens in certain kinds of web pages that have the forms in it, और forms में these can be used also कि उनके अंदर जो भी वैल्यू लिखी जाए they can be used in such a way कि वो आप उसको database access भी provide कर सकते हैं. So basically क्या करते हैं hackers, they enter data into an online form to check for vulnerability to a SQL injection. So basically वो कुछ उसके अंदर लिख के चेक करते हैं कि उसमें ब्रीच है या उसकी वीकनेस है ये, एंड इसको SQL injection इसीलिए बोलते हैं that it happens through the kind of the online form, या उस text box के through they can put in any kind of SQL code and take the data from the databases. Right, again, so again, whenever you have to design a web application software, especially the one that has forms in it, or अगर आप online form filling करा रहे हैं, then again these need to have proper filtering and security measures installed in them. Then another kind of problem or a malicious software is a spyware. Spyware, अगर आपने देखा हो कि आपके basically antivirus software जो होते हैं that control the spywares, adwares और viruses and worms, इस किस्म की चीज़ों को control कर रहे होते हैं. Spyware basically it's not anything bad और malware के तौर पे नहीं use होता, but it can be used as a malware. It can be used for malicious purposes. Basically it's a small program that temporarily installs themselves on the computer to monitor the web surfing for advertising. Basically आपको एक specific personal advertising provide करने के लिए छोटा सा program होता है जो install हो जाता है आपके computers में, and it checks your web surfing habits. That means कि web browser के through आप जो भी clicks कर रहे हैं या जिस पेज के ऊपर जा रहे हैं, that shows your interest. So according to your interest फिर वो आपको different pop-ups देते हैं advertising के लिए, etc etc. But they also act as malware, especially when they have started to affect the computer performance. ठीक है, तो कुछ malwares इस तरह के होते हैं, for example जिसको key loggers भी कहा जाता है. That means कि वो आपकी every keystroke को check कर रहे होते हैं, and then afterwards they can be used by different hackers to check your passwords or your credit card infos or etc etc. different चीज़ें भी वो intercept कर सकते हैं with the help of spyware. So again spywares जो हैं वो usually antiviruses programs जो हैं वो block कर देते हैं. Right जी, another एक तो हमने category discuss की बात जो different kinds of malware और the software programs जो आपके computers में इंटरनेट के थ्रू आके डाउनलोड होके ईमेल अटैचमेंट के थ्रू किसी भी और मीन्स से आपके कंप्यूटर में आके डैमेज कर सकते हैं सिस्टम. इसके अलावा there are certain other kinds of computer crimes या cyber crimes or hacking etc that can also damage your computer. अब जब हम computer crime और cyber crime की बात करते हैं, so basically again ये आपके computer risks की category में आता है that refers to any kind of criminal or illegal activity dealing with computers and the internet. So computer crime means कोई भी illegal activity या criminal activity जो हो रही है that is disrupting your computer, your online presence, or it is disrupting the website that your company holds या आपके business का computer है, कुछ भी कोई भी problem जो आ रही है that is happening through illegal activity or through criminal activity, that comes under the category of computer crime या cyber crime. Right जी, पहला इसमें जो है that is called hacking. Hacking basically क्या है? It's like digital trespassing. That means trespassing means कि आप किसी गैर एरिया में जा रहे हैं जहाँ पे आपको allowed नहीं है जाना. So basically hacking क्या है? Digitally you are going into a certain kind of area where you're not allowed to go. So basically it's accessing a computer system with unauthorized access. You don't have the access, but you are accessing that computer. So basically digital trespassing है to infiltrate online networks, to download confidential information, or to manipulate functions of a certain website. राइट जी, अब हैकिंग के लिए जो लोग होते हैं उनको हम हैकर्स बोलते हैं, लेकिन एक और कॉमन वर्ड है जिसको क्रैकर बोला जाता है. हैकर जो है दैट इज मच मोर कॉमन देन अ सिंपल क्रैकर. हैकर जो है दैट डज नॉट मीन अ बैड पर्सन इनिशियली, because hackers were basically used by different companies to check their systems or their networks for any kind of security breaches or any kind of problems so that they can be fixed. So hackers were initially basically simple experts in networking and experts in programming who could look into the system and tell कि इस system में ये वाला security problem आ रहा है. So the cracker is basically the kind of individual who has the criminal intent of intruding into a system or checking a network for any kind of criminal activity. लेकिन ये दोनों terms अब एक जैसे use होती हैं, hacker and cracker. Basically what they do is again to look for weaknesses in the security or features of the websites or the computer systems or the information systems. So they look at the vulnerabilities कि वहाँ पे कौन कौन से access points हैं. Again जिस तरह हमने बोला था कि web application programs में for the SQL injections they again write something in the text box of a form and to check any kind of vulnerability in that program. So basically they assess any kind of weaknesses in the security and then they do their work, either send viruses या किसी और तरह वो data disrupt करने की कोशिश कर सकते हैं. Also they can download confidential information, go into the databases, manipulate the data there, etc. etc. different काम करते हैं. Then hacking के अंदर ही एक और for example area आ जाता है जिसको हम cyber vandalism बोलते हैं. That means कि once they get access to a website then they are causing intentional disruption and defacement of a website or corporate information. That means कि वो website की जगह कोई और web page लेके आ गए उसके home page की जगह, या उसके home page के ऊपर उन्होंने किसी और तरह की information डाल दी है या जो information डली हुई थी उसको change कर दिया है. So this kind of things happen and this also come under the criminal activity और इसको हम cyber vandalism बोलते हैं when any kind of website content is changed or disrupted or defaced in this way. ठीक है, usually अगर आपने देखा हो तो I don't know if you know that recently किसी एक सिनेमा की साइट भी इसी तरह ख़राब हुई थी. गवर्नमेंट एजेंसीज की वेबसाइट्स इस तरह हैक हो जाती हैं और इस तरह उनके ऊपर डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ चीज़ें लिखी जाती हैं. ऑल्सो PTA की वन साइट वाज ऑल्सो डिफेस्ड लाइक दिस. सो डिफरेंट साइट्स किसी बंदे को गुस्सा आता है कि एक लोगों ने ऐसे क्यों किया. समटाइम्स दे डू दैट फॉर रिलीजियस रीजन, समटाइम्स दे डू दिस फॉर पॉलिटिकल रीजंस और एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. डिफरेंट रीजंस हो सकते हैं जिसकी वजह से लोग वेबसाइट्स को इस तरह ख़राब करते हैं. This comes in the category of cyber vandalism. Again, it is a cyber crime या computer crime. Then another kind of hacking जिसको हम spoofing बोलते हैं, that means the hacker hide themselves behind fake IDs. Hackers usually जब वो कोई भी system hack कर रहे होते हैं या कोई भी इस किस्म का काम कर रहे होते हैं, they're not doing it with their original ID, fake ID या किसी और का ID use करके वो ये काम करते हैं. That's why it's always important to protect your passwords, change your password every time, so that people cannot use your computer, your any kind of social networking ID or stuff like that. And it also involves redirecting a web link to a fake one that looks like a original site. So basically spoofing में भी ये भी कर सकते हैं, and especially that happens when you आपका जो सर्विस जो है वो ISP की तरफ से अगर आपको सिक्योरिटी मेजर्स सही नहीं है तो ये वाली स्पूफिंग उस वक्त हो सकती है when वेब लिंक आपने एक दिया लेकिन यू आर रीडायरेक्टेड टू अ डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ साइट जो कि फेक साइट है लेकिन वो ओरिजिनल साइट की तरह लग रही है. अगेन इवन इफ इट्स अ साइट फॉर टेकिंग एनी काइंड ऑफ पासवर्ड या लॉगिन पेज उसमें है, देन दैट मीन्स कि वो वाला जो पासवर्ड है वो फिर हैकर्स के पास जा रहा है. Alright, next we have sniffing. Again, it's an eavesdropping program that monitors information traveling over a network. Again, जो हमने बोला था wireless communication जो है that can be intercepted with the help of sniffer programs, and they have a legitimate use as well, but otherwise they can be very lethal. Sniffing basically legitimate use के लिए भी हो सकती है लेकिन it can be very lethal, especially when you are intercepting a wireless communication medium. Then we have the denial of service attacks. Basically इसमें क्या होता है, hackers flood a network server or a web server with thousands of requests. बहुत सारे requests भेजते हैं एक साथ so that कि वो service crash हो जाए over that network, and that is very disruptive or extremely lethal for any kind of site that is doing online business या e-commerce sites के लिए. These attacks can become very costly because इतनी ज़्यादा अनऑथराइज्ड रिक्वेस्ट आती हैं और फजूल की रिक्वेस्ट आती हैं कि आपका जो सिस्टम है वो थोड़ी देर के लिए ब्लॉक हो जाता है, सो दैट अगर कोई लीगल रिक्वेस्ट आ रही है देन द सिस्टम कैन नॉट रिस्पॉन्ड क्विकली टू दैट लीगल रिक्वेस्ट, या जो भी जेन्युइन रिक्वेस्ट है उसको नहीं वो ले सकता और थोड़ी देर के लिए आपका जो नेटवर्क है वो क्रैश हो जाता है. सो फिर जो लोग होते हैं जो अगर आपकी ई-कॉमर्स साइट यूज़ कर रहे हैं जैसे कि इनकी साइट तो बहुत स्लो है, इट्स नॉट रिस्पॉन्डिंग प्रॉपरली या इट्स नॉट रिस्पॉन्डिंग क्विकली एंड वी कैन नॉट बाय प्रोडक्ट्स फ्रॉम दिस साइट. So obviously any kind of these kind of malwares or attacks or hacking problems, they can cause a lot of damage because it's all about fast communication, it's all about fast responses, and it's all about being a reliable source. लेकिन अगर आपकी reliability sabotage हो रही है, अगर आपके जो effectiveness है, operations हैं, वो sabotage हो रहे हैं, then that means कि आपका business जो है वो problems में जा रहा है. And you are going to lose customers if you have these kind of problems. So it's always better to apply certain kind of preventive measures so that इस किस्म की चीज़ें आपकी websites के साथ ना हों, especially when you're doing the business online. Right जी, next computer crime को थोड़ा सा और देख लेते हैं. एक पहले तो हमने बात की थी ना हैकिंग की, तो हैकिंग के हमने डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ तरीके देखे थे. सिंपल हैकिंग, व्हाट इज सिंपल हैकिंग, एंड देन वी लुक्ड एट द denial of service attacks, spoofing, sniffing, as well as SQL injection. So these all come under the different techniques that the hackers use to get into the systems and get different kinds of information. Computer crime जो है उसको basically define जो किया गया है, it's any violations of criminal law that involve a knowledge of computer technology for the perpetration, investigation or prosecution. So if the computer is either used as a sort of a source or as a source of an instrument to do a certain crime, again it's a computer crime. And if the crime actually happens on a certain computer, yeah, it targets a certain computer, then it's a computer crime again. So दो चीज़ें हैं जिनमें computer crime बनता है. थोड़ी list दी हुई है computers as targets of crime here. So either the computer becomes the targets of crime or the computers are used as the instruments of crime. That means उनकी मदद से crime हो रहा है. Right जी, targets किस तरह हो सकते हैं? That you are breaching the confidentiality of a protected computerized data. That means कि आप protected computerized data steal कर रहे हैं, accessing the computer without authority, and you're accessing a protected computer to commit some kind of fraud. You're accessing a protected computer to cause damage. कोई भी protected computer means कोई भी server भी हो सकता है. Transmitting a program that intentionally causes damage, threatening to cause damage to protected computer. So all of these categories that are targeting a computer becomes a computer crime as well. Right जी, instrument of crime में किस तरह हो सकता है? Theft of trade secrets, either using your computer to steal some kind of electronic documents. Unauthorized copying of software or copyrighted intellectual property. That means कि आप copy कर रहे हैं उस किस्म का software जो कि copyrighted है. Schemes कर रहे हैं to defraud, using email for threats and harassment. Even if you're sending emails and you're threatening someone या किसी को harass कर रहे हैं online, again that becomes a crime. इसको basically hate crime बोलते हैं. And intentionally attempting to intercept electronic communication. Again वही sniffing वाली बात कि you are intercepting electronic communication को आप read करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. Illegally accessing stored electronic documents. So आप illegally access करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं electronic documents that are placed in anywhere else and you do not have the authorized access to do that, then that again comes under the computer crime category. Identity thefts basically means that you are stealing different passwords and different kinds of personal accounts of the users. So crime in which an imposter obtains key pieces of key personal information to impersonate someone else. For example, credit card theft या password theft. इस किस्म की चीज़ें अगर चोरी हो रही हैं, impersonate means कि आप कोई एक हैकर है, अगर वो किसी और बंदे की आईडी यूज़ कर रहा है, then that means कि वो पोस्ट कर रहा है कि वो दूसरा बंदा है. So basically बहरूपिया जिसको कहते हैं, वो उस किस्म की ऑनलाइन बहरूपिया बनने की कोशिश कर रहे होते हैं. So phishing basically again kind of a computer crime. इसमें क्या हो रहा होता है? Again आपका जो spoofing की बात की थी, phishing थोड़ा refined है उससे. It's setting up fake websites or sending fake emails that look legitimate to ask users for personal data. So for example, एक fake बैंक की तरफ से email आ सकती है that we require your account information and you have to give us this because we are updating the account, blah blah blah. इस किस्म की कोई situation वो बना के लिख सकते हैं. And then they can have a link of your website, again of your bank, लेकिन again वो like we said कि वो spoofed bank है, वो fake bank की website है. And when you click on the link, so instead of going through the original bank website, you are going to that fake website that looks like the original one. So इस किस्म की चीज़ें करके, so that once you enter information on that site, that information goes to the hacker or any kind of person who wants to use that information. Right, the farming basically क्या it redirects users to fake web pages even when they have entered the correct web address. Happens when ISP companies have flawed software. Again, spoofing का ही refined form है. Cyber terrorism basically अगर आपके जो cyber attacks हो रहे हैं that target software that run electric grid, power grids, air traffic controls, bank networks. So for example, if they're targeting huge network or if they're targeting इस किस्म की चीज़ें कि air traffic control panel को वो target कर रहे हैं, that comes under the category of cyber terrorism because वो large scale के ऊपर कोई problem create कर रहे हैं या large scale के ऊपर hacking हो रही है that is going to affect a lot of people, then that comes under the category of cyber terrorism. Again, it is a computer crime. or it can be a cyber crime as well. Right, so far we've talked about the different kinds of malicious softwares, किस किस्म के threats हो सकते हैं when you download certain kinds of softwares, or when you are sending attachments, email attachments from one place to another. तो किस किस्म के softwares जो होते हैं that can affect your computer. Also we talked about the hacking. Hacking basically क्या होती है, what are its different forms, and the different types of computer crimes. That computer crimes, एक तो hacking हो गई, दूसरा ये that you can have identity thefts, that people can steal your passwords. For example, Facebook password चोरी हो गया, या MSN का password चोरी हो गया, Yahoo password चोरी हो गया. Also you can have credit card information taken from any kind of bank accounts. Again, phishing also is a refined way of doing the spoofing. That means that they are taking the your personal information. इसी तरह phishing and farming है, and also the cyber terrorism. That means that any kind of crime that is targeting a large scale system, for example that air traffic control system, अगर उस किस्म के systems को या trains के system को कोई sabotage कर रहा है, then that comes under the category of cyber terrorism. Right, now let's talk about the business value of security and control. That means why is it necessary for the businesses to properly implement the security features as well as the control features in their organizations. Usually businesses जो हैं, they do not put much effort in the security. They say अच्छा ठीक है, once you have the proper hardware installed, you have the databases and the networking installed, तो security, we don't need much security because हमें कोई इस किस्म के threats है नहीं. लेकिन security and control is critical to businesses. Why? Because usually according to a certain research 2.1% of market value जो है वो पहले 2 दिन में down चली जाती है if a security breach happens. That is कि अगर आपकी कंपनी में कोई भी security flaw आ रहा है और उस security problem की वजह से आपके कस्टमर्स अपना डेटा लूज कर रहे हैं, आपके कस्टमर्स के क्रेडिट कार्ड्स में प्रॉब्लम्स आ रही है, या आपके कस्टमर्स को कोई भी प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, या उनके कंप्यूटर सिस्टम्स को प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है आपके सिस्टम की वजह से, देन दैट मीन्स कि योर बिजनेस इज इन ट्रबल. आपको सिर्फ लीगली अपने कस्टमर्स को लीगली उनको नहीं सेटिस्फाई करना, बल्कि आपको अपना भी प्रॉब्लम फिक्स करना है, एंड दैट इज गोइंग टू कॉस्ट यू मनी. Because people are going to ask you कि ये जो हमारा problem हुआ है आपकी वजह से हुआ है, so legally you have to pay us for the damage. So basically, once you have a security breach, it's not an easy thing to handle. People can sue you that आपकी computer problem की वजह से हुआ है, you should have the security measures properly installed. And that's why, because the valuable confidential information जो है वो अगर leak हो जाती है, then the customers are the one that have the troubles, and that's why this kind of valuable and confidential information needs to be secured and protected. अगर तो businesses जो हैं वो security measures नहीं adopt करते, then that inadequacy can lead to legal liability as well as data exposure. उनका जो confidential और private data है वो ना सिर्फ expose हो जाएगा, बल्कि because of the data exposure, their customers will get angry, they will not be happy, and they can get into a legal liability as well. Legal liability means again that the people can do cases on them that because of their system, our system got into problems, or हमारी information इनकी वजह से change हुई है. So they have to obviously give a certain amount of money to sort of take care of the damages. And if you have done the implementation of the security, तो वो आपके खामखा के जो expense है वो बच जाता है, so you get a higher return on investment. Why? Because your systems are reliable, your systems are secure, you have more customers, and the employee productivity also increases. Why? Because आपके system जो हैं वो किसी भी वजह से shut down नहीं हो रहे, right? Even if there is a problem, तो वो automatically solve हो रहे हैं, so your employee productivity also increases, and it also lowers the operational costs. So for example, if you have any security breach, obviously that is going to cost you financially as well. So that is going to obviously put a load on the personal costs. So it's always important that once you have your complete information set up, you have to have certain security measures in order to take care of the problems. Also, जब आप security measures implement करते हैं, then it's very important, and it's so important that आपके आगे जाके, for example, you have specialized programs that you can learn, जिसमें आपको complete certifications हैं that only are about the information system security and auditing. So that means that you have specialized people that work in this field of security, that is the information system security. Okay, the next is electronic evidence and computer forensics. That is, nowadays legal cases rely on digital data stored on storage media along with email and e-commerce transactions. So for example, अगर कोई भी problem आ रहा है computers में, या अगर कोई आपके hackers intrude कर गए हैं या किसी किस्म का भी damage हुआ है, or it has been damaged by any internally या externally, किसी employee ने कुछ damage किया, etc etc, कोई भी problem हो सकती है. So you can put up a case for that, and those legal cases basically are dependent on the digital data stored on the storage media. That means hard disk के ऊपर, CDs के ऊपर, USBs के ऊपर, emailing, even जिस किस्म की भी चीज़ें हैं, और e-commerce transactions even though, इन सब चीज़ों को use किया जाता है as electronic evidence nowadays. Not only in simple problems that are related to computers, but any kind of other kind of criminal activity या जो भी legal cases deal कर रहे हैं, उनके अंदर आजकल electronic evidence has a very important role. So it's always important to follow a certain kind of effective electronic document policy, जिसमें आपकी कंपनी डिफाइन करती है कि आपके रिकॉर्ड्स किस तरह ऑर्गेनाइज्ड होंगे और वो कितने टाइम तक यू कैन सेव अ सर्टेन रिकॉर्ड एंड कितने टाइम तक यू कैन डिस्कार्ड इट. सो you have to save it until a certain point, and the documents should not be discarded very soon. So this is a certain policy that different organizations have to comply with, because most of the electronic documents can be used for evidences as well. और इसी से एक फील्ड निकलता है कंप्यूटर फोरेंसिक्स, जिसको हम कहते हैं बेसिकली इट्स अ साइंटिफिक कलेक्शन, एग्जामिनेशन, ऑथेंटिकेशन, preservation and analysis of data retrieved from storage media. So basically आपके different storage media से जो data लिया जाता है उसको examine किया जाता है, authenticate किया जाता है और उसके ऊपर analysis किए जाते हैं to figure out a certain evidence. And this can be used for court evidence as well, and it also includes the ambient data. Ambient data means that any kind of data that has been deleted. So you have certain programs या different kind of softwares ऐसे होते हैं that can also read the deleted data from the hard disk, unless and until you have used a certain kind of software yourself to delete the data. तो कुछ softwares ऐसे होते हैं that can read the simply deleted data from the hard disks as well. Right जी. So different kinds of techniques use करते हैं computer forensics में, जो के data retrieve कर सकते हैं, उसको प्रिजर्व कर सकते हैं और उसके ऊपर एनालिसिस कर सकते हैं टू फिगर आउट दैट कोई भी एविडेंस है जो किसी के खिलाफ यूज हो सकता है या किसी के फेवर में यूज हो सकता है, then that can be used in that place. So firms' contingency planning process should have the awareness of this electronic evidence policy and the computer forensics, so that they can devise a policy in the organization that keeps the data up till a certain date or time and then discard it later on and keep the data in an organized manner so that it can be used for evidences. And उससे ये क्या हो सकता है कि if your company runs into some kind of problems, then with that data the company can simply regain itself या अपने आप को अपने पाँव पे दोबारा खड़ा कर सकती है if it runs into some kind of problems. So basically what we did today was that we looked into the different kinds of computer system के computer risks किस किस्म के हो सकते हैं and the इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम वल्नरेबिलिटीज़ को देखा है कि आपके जो सिस्टम्स हैं, स्पेशली इफ द इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम्स आर बेस्ड ऑन कंप्यूटर्स, तो उनको किस किस्म के प्रॉब्लम्स फेस हो सकते हैं और कौन कौन से एरियाज ऐसे हैं दैट दे कैन बी अफेक्टेड. आइदर दे कैन बी अफेक्टेड टू एनी काइंड ऑफ नेचुरल डिजास्टर, और दे कैन बी अफेक्टेड इवन इफ दे आर कनेक्टेड टू अ सिंपल लैन नेटवर्क, or they are connected to the internet, or they are connected through a wireless communication medium. Then every connectivity or every network access has its own set of problems. Also, we looked at the different kinds of malware that can enter your computer either through downloaded programs or email attachments. Then we looked at the different kinds of computer crimes, जिसमें hacking आ जाती है, different kinds of other kinds of computer crimes. और उसका मतलब है कि any kind of criminal or illegal activity that can damage the computer or its processing power. So ये different kinds of programs हैं, different kinds of चीज़ें हैं, criminal acts हैं that can damage the computer system, or it can damage different kinds of websites, especially when you have an online business या transactional business online है या आपकी e-commerce website है. अगर उसके ऊपर कोई problem आ जाता है, then it costs you a lot of money, because आपको बहुत सारे financial problem आ सकते हैं, because you might be losing customers as well. That's why we say the businesses should value the security and control. They have to implement the security and control measures in the organizations, because it is very important for their survival and very important for their competitive edge as well. If they not have a proper security, then they will not be reliable. अगर उनका थोड़ा सा भी breach आ जाता है या कोई भी एक problem हो जाती है जिसकी वजह से customers have to pay for it, or the customers get affected by it, and the customers get angry or they're not happy with the organization or the business, then that means that they're going to lose the market value. And this is very important in businesses, that you do not lose the market value, you maintain your reputation, and you maintain your reputation as a trusted company. So it's very important to implement the security and control measures, and also keep track of the different kinds of documents, keep the documents in an organized manner, and also एक पॉलिसी बना लें कि आपके जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स हैं वो इस टाइम तक रहेंगे कंपनी में, इस टाइम तक डिस्कार्ड हो जाएंगे, सो दैट दे कैन बी यूज्ड एज एविडेंसेस एज वेल. So this is all for today. We talked about basically we talked about the threats to the computer system. In the next lecture we're going to talk about different organizational measures that can be adopted for implementing the security and control, and different kinds of tools and techniques also that can be used for safeguarding the information systems. So this is all for today. We'll meet in the next lecture. Thank you very much.